It's been the ultimate in a collaborative campus-type workflow.
Looks abandoned.
That's what they want you to think.
A collaboration with art department, when you watch the film, it will all look real.
Explain Tokyo.
What you saw was just a detailed recreation.
You won't be able to tell which shot was digital and which shot was practical.
Nice.
That's our goal, that's our starting point. The thing about this series is that the big mandate is be true to the video games in spirit, yes.
Nice.
But just try and have a lot of fun with it.
And then stop there. Stop.
One of the first meetings I had, actually, when I first arrived here, was with Mr. X, Dennis Berardi's team.
Our big challenge on this movie, in terms of the CGI, is striking the balance between photorealism, otherwise we break the audience's suspension of disbelief, and being true to the video game.
You know, there's always a very fine balance between what's physical sets and what are virtual sets. For this film, I think there's a good blend.
Kevin Phipps, fantastic production designer, had great ideas for a lot of these sets. Some of them, art department didn't build at all. We would build that digitally, as in the case of the White House bunker. Some of them, he would build a set entirely, like in the Umbrella control room.
The testing floor is 300 feet high.
And in some cases, it was a hybrid.
You know, certain things would build up to a point and then they'd be extended.
As in the case of the Kamchatka field.
75% is real, 25% is visual effects, which is a pretty high proportion.
Combinations of visual effects photography and physical set building and green screen work. Submarine Pen is a very good example. Giant location at an abandoned power station, which we redress sizable elements. There's Typhoon submarines in there, which are, 574 feet long. And of course, we're never going to build those. There's these super wide shots that are shooting on our foreground dressed areas of sets, and then Mr. X, Dennis, will then add in some 3D map paintings of the complete submarine pen.
We've done a lot of big underground facilities. In the first movie, they built a giant facility underneath Raccoon City, which was the Hive. Then, in the third movie, they had a similar facility that was out in the desert. In the fourth movie, they had a facility like that was underneath Tokyo, underneath Shibuya.
They have unlimited funding, obviously, because every umbrella control room we ever see is huge. And this one's no exception.
It's a classic umbrella facility, only this time it's on the bed of the ocean rather than being underground.
Paul had written this underwater facility, and he'd written all this sort of stainless steel corridors. So I pitched the idea of this glass, underlit, side-lit, top-lit spaces. And he liked it and bought into it. It turned out to be quite a technical challenge to do these glass corridors.
Just photographically, there's some big glass sets, and glass isn't easy to light. It looks really cool.
We've kind of ended up designing a kind of modular system of floor panels and wall panels, which are then being repurposed for our different looks. A lot of the more complicated sequences are storyboard and previs, and quite a lot of 3D modeling.
One of the things that's happened in recent years, art department and visual effects, we're actually sharing the same digital assets.
Because of the delivery time on the movie, Dennis started before I did.
Digital models were going back and forth. Models that we were creating here in Maya, we would send over to the art department. They would take over and import into their software and be able to use them.
As we get on with the design process, those files and that information goes back into the previs. So it's quite well integrated.
What we do these days is we are on set as the scenes are being photographed, and we do photo surveys of the set lighting. We do HDRI references, these high dynamic range images that allow us to capture the director of photography's lighting setup and replicate it virtually in the computer. We'll take all that on-set survey data, and that becomes an input into our digital renderers. And so now we're photorealistically rendering our CG into a simulated real-world lighting setup that we captured on set. And that's been the paradigm-shifting event in visual effects in the last few years, as it's become easier and the techniques have improved that our rendering now can more look like live-action photography.
There's so much information with lighting and texture that it makes the matte painter's job much easier.
The last thing we want to do is deliver a visual effect that doesn't look like it could have been photographed. For us at Mr. X, that's our challenge, is to not give away that it's synthetically done, that it's photoreal.